Raptors and Sixers. And we can't call this the Sixers segment if we don't focus on the Sixers. So let's do that. They've won 14 straight. They're currently the 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. First time they've won 50 games since 2001. Sarah, any chance the Sixers could make the finals in the East?
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, not make the Eastern Conference Finals. Make the NBA Finals out of the East.
I'm still going to say absolutely. And I think...
I mean, if they could make the Eastern Conference Finals...
I just want to make sure the audience knows the question we're asking. I just want to make sure...
Yeah, we can come after the Cavs.
Go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
We're teaming up on you on this side. No, without a doubt. And I think one of the most impressive things that we have seen now out of this team is the way in which they've been able to play without Joel Embiid. And I think it speaks to their versatility, and they can play fast, they can play slow, they can play in all different ways. You want to go big, you want to go small. This team has a lot of pieces. I know the one thing and the one knock against them, which of course they don't have, is playoff experience because of their youth. But they do have some players who bring that type of veteran experience. And this team as a whole continues to impress me because they are peaking at the right time of the season. Share the ball so well. Speaking of Oklahoma City, the lack of sharing the basketball, Philadelphia has been doing that. They share the basketball. They have shooters. The one area of concern for me with them has been turnovers, and they've led the league in most turnovers throughout the duration of the entire season. That has improved drastically over the last 14 games during this win streak. And I think that's one area, especially during the playoffs and during the postseason, they're going to have to be very wary of, given the fact that the game slows down a bit. Possessions are so much more valuable. But I, without a doubt, think they have a real shot at not only getting to the Eastern Conference Finals, but also potentially advancing.
Listen, they are the only team in the East that when I was doing my All-NBA ballot, almost had 2 players on it. Like Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons listed as guard or forward. I was doing that 6th forward on the All-NBA. I'm like, Paul George or Ben Simmons? I don't know. I ended up like, it's a strong. He is going to be an amazing player. He's already, in my eyes, one of the 25 best players in this league. That's not even to speak to how good Joel Embiid is. And, by the way, how good this team has looked when Markelle Fultz is coming off the bench and giving them some real minutes. Like, I don't know if people are paying attention, but you know that corner that Boston has staked claim to? The Eastern Conference team that's going to run the conference post-LeBron? Philly might not only be on that corner, they might have fully edged Boston off the corner with now the biggest injury concern between the 2 teams. Maybe isn't Joel Embiid's foot. Maybe it's Kyrie Irving's knee. Yeah. Like as far as the future, well, when you have Markelle Fultz, #1 overall pick, who's given you, aside from the last 2 weeks, nothing all year, you know, that, I mean, so they have all those things coming for them. The only reason that, as someone that has said all year long, the Cavs are a lock for the finals, the only reason that Philly has not made me truly nervous is the precedent of needing some level of playoff experience before you go win 3 rounds. Like, I've never seen a team that I've seen teams where guys had playoff experience on different rosters, like the '08 Celtics. KG had his experience in Minnesota, Ray Allen had his experience in Seattle and Milwaukee, Paul Pierce, and then they all came together. The first year they make the finals, they win the championship. But that wasn't an inexperienced team. It was just a newly put together team. Everyone that matters on this team has never played in a playoff game, or the most important players never played in a playoff game. That's the only, because they're a more talented roster than Cleveland. They present matchup problems for Cleveland. Like, for all those reasons, like, Philly's they're the 2nd best team in this conference to me, with, I guess, no disrespect to Toronto, maybe a little disrespect to Toronto, but to me they're clearly the 2nd most dangerous playoff team in this conference.
One thing you have to watch when you get to playoffs, and Sarah, you've been covering the NBA for a while, so you understand this, the whistle. There's the opposition. We talked about beating the team, but also beating the referees. Now, coming down the stretch in the NBA, in the playoffs, you need a guy who can draw the whistle. The referees, if they just let them play out, then Philadelphia, they're going to have a hard time getting to the finals. But you would think with Joel Embiid, it's his first time in the playoffs, but he's in that superstar realm with LeBron, Harden, Russ, KD, and Steph. All these guys at the end of games, they're going to get a call. The ref is not going to hold the whistle, not going to let you just foul them. We saw in the Philadelphia game. That wasn't a foul on LeBron. Especially wasn't no shooting foul. Like, it should have been on the court. But what they give him? They gave him the 3 free throws. That's what happens more so in the playoffs. So if you don't have a superstar, or if you don't have a guy who can make the refs blow the whistle, and we know in post play, they don't blow the whistle in post play. So how does that affect Philadelphia and Joel Embiid and their ability? I think that that's something that we have to watch in closing out games with a young team. Their oldest player, J.J. Redick, he's not getting no whistle. He's not no superstar. And the rest of these young players, they're going to have to play through a lot of contact and understand that they have not gotten that status that some of these other players have.
I think that's such an important point, and I think very much so at the end of games. But because of that is why I have a lot more belief in Philadelphia, because of how physical they play. And I've called a couple of Philadelphia games in the past month or month and a half, and being up close and watching them, they are one of these grind-out tough teams that they can hang on you. They can make you feel them.
Do you believe a lot of that comes from their coach? We don't talk about
Brett Brown a lot.
Brett Brown is spectacular. He is spectacular. And you watch what he's done over the years and the mentality that he's instilled in this team. And you want to talk about culture, that word gets tossed around a lot. He has created a culture which they believe. But you're right. And I just think they're physical, being young guys, but they are developed, they are physical, and that's exactly how they play.
And, like, when Cleveland went and beat Toronto these last couple times, one of the words is, Toronto's got nobody to guard LeBron. I've been saying that. And a lot of people reply to me, well, who has someone to guard LeBron? And nobody shuts down LeBron. Nobody shuts down LeBron. But there are players that can slow him down. And the types of players, body types, think about it. The body type is Robert Covington. The body type is maybe Rashawn Holmes. Maybe even in a pinch on a switch, if there's any center in the league other than Draymond Green, I think, that is going to get switched on LeBron and have a shot, I would say it's Joel Embiid. So, like, there are guys they have that can present some trouble to him. But one other thing you mentioned about the whistles, but also you've talked about Joel Embiid leading the NBA in points in the paint. We had, you and I, CeCe, had lunch with I would say, an NBA expert, a former NBA executive coach, the whole nine. And he made the point about how if you have a star big man, how important it is that he rim runs, that he gets easy buckets, because that is the one time where the refs will let you destroy the defender to get position. When Joel Embiid leads the NBA in points in the paint, the audience shouldn't think that's all on post-ups in the half court. A lot of that is he's getting down there quick. Ben Simmons is kicking it up court, Kevin Love style, and he has a layup at the rim. That will translate to the postseason as well. Philadelphia, you won 50 games after being, and you guys mentioned Brett Brown. Part of Brett Brown's success has been just surviving how awful it was to be that head coach the last few years, and now he's getting to.
But you have to give him a lot of credit, because you see the player development. You see these guys developing, and you got to be able to go to the organization to be able to have patience with him, but also what the coaching staff is doing. These young players have really improved. The process, it does work.
They believe. They're not scared of anyone.
Sarah, thanks so much for hanging out with us.
Thanks for having me.
Coming up, can Johnny Manziel get back on an NFL roster? That's next on First Things First.